Big Beautiful Bill Act is making headlines across the nation. The proposed legislation seeks to make sweeping changes to federal spending and extend tax cuts passed during the first Trump administration. But what could it mean for the Mountain State? Our Chase Campbell has more.
Stakeholders in West Virginia are divided on the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the sweeping budget reconciliation legislation championed by President Donald Trump and passed mostly along party lines by the House of Representatives in May. The wide-ranging bill seeks to maintain low taxes and cut non-military spending across the federal government. Sean O'Leary, senior policy analyst for the West Virginia Center on Budget and Policy, says the legislation threatens to upend health care coverage for thousands of people in West Virginia, a state whose population is among the nation's oldest, poorest, and unhealthiest, as data from the U.S. Census Bureau and America's Health Rankings show.
The cuts to Medicaid and the premium tax credits for the Affordable Care Act, that would affect 65,000 people in the state would potentially lose their health care coverage, and hundreds of millions of dollars lost in federal funding for the state.
The legislation requires states to implement new work and community engagement requirements for Medicaid eligibility. Citing recent state-level rollouts of similar requirements in Georgia and Arkansas, O'Leary says these work requirements lead to a loss of coverage. O'Leary says often the issue isn't with Medicaid recipients not working, but with bureaucratic confusion surrounding how they report their employment.
What happens is a lot of people just get caught up in that paperwork. In Arkansas, 1 in 4 people who were subject to the requirements lost coverage within a year. A federal judge stopped that program. And nearly everyone who lost coverage was supposed to have received an exemption, but because the process was confusing, because there's forms you have to fill out every month, what qualifies as employment, how many hours you're working. It was a lot of confusion and burden. Georgia, same thing.
O'Leary says that because of the major role the healthcare industry plays in the state's economy, widespread loss of Medicaid coverage could have a widespread economic impact as well.
We have more healthcare jobs as a share of our economy than any other state in the country. So, when cuts come down to Medicaid, when cuts come down to the Affordable Care Act, that trickles down throughout the economy. And it's a significant driver of employment. So when there's less federal funding coming in, when there's less people being able to see doctors, less people having health coverage, that results in fewer jobs as well.
Conversely, Steve Roberts, president of the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce, says he believes at least part of the Big Beautiful Bill could have a positive economic impact, namely those parts that extend provisions from the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
We're seeing that the tax cuts that were enacted in 2017 have done largely what they were expected to do, which is cause business to spend more on its equipment, inventory, and production capacities. More people have been hired, wages have gone up, and so from an economic stimulus point of view, the Tax Cut and Jobs Bill of 2017 worked well.
If those provisions don't get extended, Roberts warns that taxpayers across West Virginia and the whole nation will see their tax bills increase.
If we do not extend the provisions of the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act bill, what we would see is somewhere between 60 and 65% of all the taxpayers in the United States will be facing substantially higher tax rates, and we could very well lose the economic momentum that we've had that has helped our economy grow so much over the past several years.
O'Leary agrees that the measures in the Big Beautiful Bill carried over from the 2017 bill would save taxpayers money.
The typical household in West Virginia that makes about $55,000 would save about $1,100. The top 1% that makes over $566,000 would see a $50,000 savings. So, it depends on whether or not you believe that that money is going to trickle down and power the economy.
Outside of continued tax breaks, Roberts says he has some concerns about other aspects of the Big Beautiful Bill, including its rollbacks of provisions from the Biden-era Inflation Reduction Act.
There are benefits in the IRA that encourage tax credits for investing in renewable energy, as an example. There are tax credits in the IRA that give a boost to the natural gas industry that will help the hydrogen, the emerging hydrogen industry. Those are important tax credits for West Virginia, and they are potentially on the chopping block, and we would like to see those benefits continue to be there so that West Virginia can continue to get the benefit of increased investment from those vehicles.
Roberts says that as the bill moves through the Senate, he hopes to see West Virginia senators advocate for the continuation of those IRA benefits. Chase Campbell, WTAP News.